Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nate. Today I wanted to do my August TBR. Now for August, I've made the interesting decision that I basically wanted to try and challenge myself and read 31 books in 31 days in August. I've actually seen from watching other people's TBRs that a few people are doing this as well, so that's quite exciting. I have read quite a bit in July. Now that I'm working nights, I can listen to audiobooks while I'm working, and so I have, I think, read like 15, 16 books in July, most of those being audiobooks, so like it really has expanded my ability to read more. So I'm gonna try and challenge myself to read 31 books in August. If it feels like I'm kind of getting in a slump or I'm just not enjoying it, I'm not gonna push myself, but I am gonna kind of set that kind of challenge and that goal. I'm not gonna pick all 31 books now in this TBR. I'm gonna play my game, pick however many books that is, and I am doing hopefully a couple of other bits in August as well as terms of readathons, so I will talk about those after I play my TBR game, so that will help contribute to what books I may or may not read. But before we get on to August, I do want to do a little recap of what I did or did not read in July. So I ended up having 10 books on my TBR for July. Now, I have only completed 2 of them completely, and these ones I read physically. I think one of the mistakes I made for July is I didn't check whether I had audiobooks, and so I just have not been physically reading as much, whereas audiobooks I've been able to listen to a lot more. So I have read 2 of them completely. I'm intending to finish these 2 in the next 2 days. It's the 29th as I'm filming this, so yeah, I am intending to finish these 2, so that'll be 4 completed. I made it halfway through Midnight Sun and I have decided to DNF it. It's not terribly written. I just think Edward is such a drip and I'm not enjoying reading his like 4 long monologues, and yeah, it's just a lot. I think it's unnecessarily chunky because Edward doesn't sleep, and so all he does is think and think and think, and he is a bit of a drip. And yeah, not really enjoying my time with it. I think if I didn't know the story, it might be slightly more interesting, but because I know the story, I know where it's going. There's no suspense. There's nothing like that I'm like waiting to happen because I know it's all happened. So yeah, I have decided to DNF this book, which basically leaves these 5 books unread. And I did start these 2, but I'm probably just going to roll them over and try and finish them in August as part of my 31 books. I'm not very far in either of them, like 50 pages. So as sort of like a new rule that I'm doing, I am going to take a punishment. My punishment is going to be, I'm going to be pulling a book from my standalone jar. This has not been updated since like 2023, but I think most of the books in here I've owned for at least 2 years, most of them probably way longer than that, and so I really want to get this jar down, and so I'm going to basically pull a book from this and it's going to be a read or unhaul. If I do not read it in August, I will unhaul it, which if I've owned it for like over 4 years and still haven't touched it, am I going to? So that is going to be my punishment for not completing my TBR. So I'm going to do this first, and then we will move on to the roles for the TBR game. Give it a good shuffle. We'll go with this one. Okay, that is The Book Thief by Mark Zuzak, I believe. Let me go and grab it. So the Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. This is, I believe it's a historical fiction. I don't know if it has fantasy elements. I don't know much about it, but I've heard like it's so popular and I have wanted to read it for ages. I'm just checking now on my library. I'm assuming I could get the audiobook for it. Yes, the audiobook is available from my library and it's like the 16th of August. So if I reserve it, I will be able to get it. So that's not too bad because I do actually want to read this. So this will be my read or unhaul for the month. I believe I picked this up secondhand, but yeah, it is a chunky book though. It's over 500 pages, which is kind of classic. That would be the book that I have to pick. So this is the first book that I'm hoping to read in August. And with all of that done, let's jump into my roles for my TBR game. So role number 1 for August. So the board is all set up. I'm playing with this little Kuwabara piece today. So let's go with the first role for August, which is a 2. Which landed me on a green prompt, which is an audiobook, which is perfect. So role number 1 got me audiobook, which is perfect for August. I'm actually going to be putting on Mr. Monday. This is by Garth Nix. This is the first book in his Keys to the Kingdom series. I think there's 7, and I've owned this book for about 15 years, I'll be honest. It's been a while, and I have not read it. I think it's a middle grade or young adult, I'm not quite sure. It is about a young boy named Arthur who is not supposed to be a hero, he's supposed to die, but then he meets sinister Mr. Monday and everything changes. That really doesn't give it away a lot. It is over 400 pages, but it's not like the writing's not very big in it, and I do have the audiobook for it. So I am probably going to listen and try and read some of this. So I think this will be manageable, a manageable one to read. And it is one that was on like my series that I wanted to start for 2024. I had 4 of series and I've started none of them yet. So this was one of them. So I think it'll be a good one to get on. And yeah, I have the audiobook that I can get out from my library. So that's the first book for TBR's game for the month. On to role number 2. Role number 2 is another 2, which got me a black and a blue. So the blue prompt is an own voice book, and the black prompt is to read 50 pages in a coffee shop. For an own voice, I'm going to go for a non-fiction book, and I'm going to go for The Transgender Issue. This is by Sean Fay. This is an argument for justice. It is a book that talks about the kind of history of the transgender movement in the UK, and I'm particularly interested in it for that reason. I don't know a ton of the movement of the transgender movement specifically in the UK, so I did think this would be something really interesting to read. And again, I can get the audiobook from this from my library. I have read like the little prologue chapter, but like that's 16 pages, so not a lot at all. And yeah, I think it would be good to read the audiobook as well as read this so I can kind of really take it in. I think it's going to be pretty heavy. It's going to obviously talk about the kind of very darker, not so fun side of being trans. It's one I bought a couple of years ago, and it is on my my self-destruct list for the year, and so I do really want to get to it because I actually do really want to read it. So yeah, I think for non-fictions as well, having the audiobooks would be really helpful for me because I don't take in non-fictions, I think, as well as I do fiction. Yeah, but I am looking forward to reading this one. So this will be another book for August. Roll number 3. 7. Blue and a Green. So a book that it is by a UK author. That is a 2024 purchase. For UK author that I bought this year, I'm going to read The Reappearance of Rachel Price. This is by Holly Jackson. I have read 2 other Holly Jackson books, and I've given them both 5 stars. And so I think this is probably a good hit, that it's going to be a good one. And this is a book about Belle, and 16 years ago, her mum, Rachel, went missing. And there is a TV show series that is covering this case as kind of one of those big unsolved cases. And during the filming of the TV show, I believe Rachel reappears, and it's kind of a story about where the hell has she been, what's been going on, and is everything like kind of what it seems. I also have the audiobook that I can get for this one. I think I can get this from Scribe, the audiobook. The last book I read of Holly Jackson's, which was 5 Survive, I read in a day, like in one sitting, so I imagine I would be able to do this as well for this one, even though it is a bit more chunky. I am looking forward to it, and I've heard relatively good things actually from people that I've seen that have read this. They seem to have really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. Roll number 4. 5. A Green and a Black, so a fantasy YA that I have to read within 3 days. For roll number 4, I got YA fantasy, and this one I'm putting on a book that I don't have the audiobook for. I potentially could use my Spotify credit to listen to it, and that though is Silver in the Bone. This is by Alexandra Bracken. This is the Fairy Loot edition, where it has the sprayed edges. It's really pretty, and I do think this edition has like a beautiful cover art on like the naked hardcover. But Fairy Loot have announced they're doing a sequel, or they're doing a version of the sequel, and so I want to get this read to see if I like it enough to buy the sequel in the Fairy Loot edition. They're doing it for two books that I own. I haven't read either of them, so I at least wanted to try and read Silver in the Bone and see if I like it, but I don't have the audiobook for it, so it's going to be one of my physical reads for the month, and it is like 460 pages, so it's a chunk of it. I haven't actually heard anyone really talk about it, so I'm interested to see what I think about it. I don't actually know what it's about though. Let me have a quick look. Oh, it's something to do with Arthurian legend. Driven by love, revenge, and pure adrenaline, this is the stunning new novel from one of the top fantasy writers of today. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what I think about this book. Roll number 6 is a 2, which is a free spot, so I can pick that at the end. Roll number 6 is a 3, which is a green book, an Asian author. Roll number 5 was a 3 pick. I do my 3 picks at the end so I can kind of add anything on that I'm missing. So then for number 6, we got Asian author. And for that, I'm going to be putting on Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. This is a tiny book, which is kind of one of the reasons I wanted to get it on here, because I think it would take me no time at all to read. But I did have this, I think, on my spring TBR, which I did not read. It's about a 36-year-old woman who works in a convenience store, and she's never had a boyfriend, she doesn't fit in, and she just wants to be in her convenience store working. Her parents wish she'd get a better job, and her friends wonder why she won't get married, but all she wants to be is happy in her little convenience store. I have no idea what kind of genre this is. Like maybe general fiction, I guess. But yeah, it's a tiny little book that I think would be really nice to read, like chill out and relax one day before work. So yeah, so this will be the book going on for Asian author. Roll number 7. 3 is a blue. A secondhand book. For roll number 7, I got a secondhand book, and for this one, I'm going to be putting on The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. This is by Laurie Gilmore. This is also one that I can get the audiobook for. This is about a young girl, Jennifer, whose aunt gives her the Pumpkin Spice Cafe in a little town, and yeah, I think it's just a romance. She has a happy-go-lucky attitude, and there's like a grumpy guy. This was a secondhand from my mum, but it is a book that I'm gonna basically planning on reading in a specific week in August. The literature readathon is coming back in August for round 2. I participated in February in round 1, so I kind of wanted to do it again, and one of the prompts was like an autumnal read, and so I think this would work for that, which is why I picked it. But I do also have the audiobook, I think, on Scribd for this one, so yeah. So roll number 8 is a 4, a purple and a black. So the black is a book, finish a book in 2 days, and then I would cut and film the purple afterwards. Okay, so roll number 8, I landed on purple. This will be my little spinner wheel here. And as you can see, I landed on ebook, which this is the ebook jar. I don't know if I've updated it, but I also have not been buying ebooks recently. So we will just dig in and grab one. They're all kind of meshed up. Let's go for this one. Let's have a look. What the hell does that say? I Feed Her to the Beast. This is by Jameson Shea. Ace of Spades meets House of Hollow in this villain origin story. A perfectionist with an axe to grind, despite being constantly overlooked in this elite and cutthroat world of ballet, she will do anything to prove that a black girl can take center stage. This is from a debut author, a slow burn horror. It has a 3.72 on Goodreads, and I think it's a YA. Yeah, it's a YA. It's also shelved under queer, so yeah. It's one I've owned for a while. I'm quite interested in reading it. The cover is very, very beautiful. I really like the cover. So yeah, I'm interested in reading that, and something a bit different for the month. Roll number 9. 8. Lovely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's another purple. I landed on another purple, which again, I'm doing the thing where I don't spin again. I'm just going to go around clockwise. And so that is a standalone. So this one won't be a read-around haul. Let's have a look. I always kind of do this and then like stare off into space for some reason. Let's do this one. Okay, this is Lies We Sing to the Sea. So Lies We Sing to the Sea, this is by Sarah Underwood, and this is actually probably one of the newest ones in this standalone jar. I'm not sure if it is a standalone or part of a series, but this was an Illumicrate exclusive edition from like last year, early last year. And I think a lot of people didn't like it. I think it's a book that is based on Odysseys, which I've never read and I don't really know much about, but I know that like the author kind of came out and said that she'd never read it, but then she had based a book inspired on it or something. So I'm guessing a kind of Greek mythology book. What does it say it's about? In the cursed kingdom of Ithaca, each summer brings the hanging of 12 maidens, a gift to the vengeful Poseidon. For 17 years, Leto has escaped the curse's mark until now. But death does not claim her. Instead, she wakes to a mysterious island greeted by the immortal Melanto. I don't know much about it, but yeah, I'll give it a go, see what I think about it. I am hoping I can get the audiobook for this though, because I have only read Circe really, which is a like Greek mythology, and I did listen to most of that on audiobook, which I think helped me take it in a bit. And also it's like 488 pages. So far I'm not doing great for getting short books on here for wanting to read 31 books in 30 days. Number 10 is a 6, which takes us to the end spot. Lovely. So the green is an adult fantasy, the blue is a random color generator, and the black is to read it in 1 day. That will be an interesting pick. So I got random color that was an adult fantasy. This was the color that I ended up getting on the like random generator website. And so I'm going to use The Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. Now that color kind of matches really nicely with like her corset and like her cape. So that is what I'm basing it on. This is quite a small book, and I have read the first book in this kind of series, and I liked it well enough, like it was fine. I didn't think it was anything outstanding, but it was like a 3-star. It was fine. I think it kind of took me back. The writing style is very modern, but it's set in like a medieval fantasy world, and so I found that very jarring when I went into the first book. But I think that I now know that that's kind of how it's written, that it won't be as jarring going into this one. This is about a girl who, I don't know if she was in the first book, but I think this werewolf character potentially was. And she throws a potion at love and it hits this werewolf. It's a love potion. And so he's convinced he's in love with her and she is trying to convince him that he's just drugged. And yeah, these are like kind of like spicy, fun, easy, romantic reads. Yeah, like I said, the first one was enjoyable enough, so this one, and it's tiny, which will be quite nice to read. So yeah, that will be my final book for my games TBR. Now, I do still have my free pick that I need to add in, and for this one, I'm going to put on Whispers Underground. This is by Ben Aronovich, and this is the 3rd book in the Rivers of London series. I can get the audiobooks for these, which is why I'm putting this one on. So I probably will just listen probably to this mostly as an audiobook. I might do a bit of both, but I think I listened to the second one completely on audio, and like I like the audiobook narrator enough, so I think like after this one, I probably won't buy any more of the physical books. I might just end up listening to the series on audiobook because I can get them from my library. So yeah, this will be my 3 pick. These are the 10 books. I'm not going to pick them up because I'm probably going to drop them. So these are the 10 books, and then also my extra reader on haul. The 10 books in the TBR game, reader on haul. Hopefully I will read all 11 of these in August as part of my 31 books in 30 days. But there is more. there is more. So I am still reading The Constant Princess by Philippa Gregory. I'm listening to this on audiobook. I've only listened to about 2 hours, so I will be finishing that in August as one of my book clubs. And then for my like monthly challenges, I don't know 100% what I'm going to read for 2 of them yet. I'm just going to figure out as the month goes on. But for the like one, which is the buzzword readathon, I'm going to be reading this book. I think it's called Love Like Poison or Poison Like something. I don't have any books on my physical TBR with the word like in them, so I just went onto my library app and just typed in like. It is a mystery thriller YA. It says good for fans of like Carrie Ann McManus, so I read a couple of her books. I enjoyed them, so I thought this would be fine. Basically, it's about a group of friends that kind of when they were younger, grouped together to make a plan to kill one of their friends' stepmom because she was really mean to him. They end up chickening out of this plan as children, and then as they grow up, they kind of fall apart, and then the stepmom dies and one of the friends is blamed for it, so then the other friends kind of come back together to try and prove that that friend didn't do it. Sounds quite interesting. It sounds like it'll be a fun little read, and yeah, I'll probably just listen to it. It'll be one of my books for the month and we'll hit that buzzwordathon. So yeah, I do like to try and get buzzword from my physical TBR, but yeah, I just don't have anything with like in the title. So then for readathons for the month of August, there are actually 3 that I'm hoping to participate in. 2 of them are month-long and 1 is a week-long. The week-long one is the Literature Readathon. I can't remember exactly when this is. I'll put up a little graphic here. This is by Steph Love Books. Again, I will leave a link to the announcement video and everything. All of that will be in the description. And I participated in the Literature Readathon the first time in February. And yeah, there is a load of prompts. You can double up. And I only know that I'm going to read Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I will probably just listen to a bunch of other romance books in that week to kind of fill these prompts out. Hopefully ones from my physical TBR that I can get the audiobooks from. But if not, they'll just be ones that I can find on Scribd or my library or whatnot. So yeah, no idea what I'm going to read for that other than Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Then the 2 month-long ones. The first one is Battleathon. This is hosted by Eleanor Reed. I'm going to be on Team Snake. This is a kind of competitive team-based readathon that is based on like your star rating. So there isn't necessarily a kind of set list of prompts or anything that you need to hit. There is a bonus word for your team. I'm not worrying about that. I'm just going to read whatever I want and my star ratings kind of count to your team points. I'm hoping that I'm going to read 31 books will kind of make up for not kind of getting those extra points. The second readathon that I'm hoping to participate in is the Deca TBR-athon. This is by Becca Books and Bujo, and it is inspired by her monthly TBR game. And it is again a competitive readathon where you're on different teams. I'm going to be in the red team, which is kind of like a TBR team. For this, how I think I'm going to do it is I'm going to pull a card, pick a book now that it's going to be my first book for this TBR, and then I'm hopefully going to vlog throughout the month, and as I go, pull cards, hopefully pull these books from this TBR as some of those card prompts, and just kind of do that throughout the month and kind of just play as I go. But yeah, I thought I would pull a card now as part of that TBR. So I have this little deck of office cards, so I'm just going to quickly give them a little shuffle, and then the first card, and I'll pick a prompt. Basically, it's done where the different numbers have prompts, and then you can pick a different level of like hardness, and you get points based on that. I'll show you when I pick my card. So let me just shuffle. Yeah, like I can't do any good shuffling, so it's very, very basic. So we're just going to go with this one, which is a 6. I will put it up here. 6 is a random read. So it could be a random color generator, a random letter generator, or a randomize your entire TBR. So I think I'm going to go for 5 points, which is the hardest one, and that is to randomize my entire TBR. I actually now have a spreadsheet that has the entirety of my TBR on it, which if I go down to the bottom, there is 279 books on my physical TBR. So I'm gonna do a random number generator. Actually, let me just ask. Give me a random number between 1 and 279. It's giving me 90. So on my Google Drive, if I go to 90, I haven't got my glasses on, so I'm like struggling to see. 90 is Silver in the Bone, which is this one. I did not plan that. That just worked out perfectly. Okay. This is going to be my first read for Deck of TBR-athon. So yeah, I'm going to try and vlog the process, like vlog the month of August. And so once I've read this one, I will draw another card and then pick another book that I'm going to read for Deck of TBR-athon. I think I'm going to pick another book just because this is going to be a physical read, and I kind of wanted a book that I could maybe listen to on audiobook that I could just listen to. But yeah, if I read this will get me 5 points. So yeah, I'm going to do that now though. I kind of wanted to pick a new book that could just be one that I start on August the 1st. So That is a queen. Queen prompt is a format, so audio, ebook, or physical. So audio would be the easiest that I could do for this, but that would only get my team 1 point, but I think I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I think for the first book for Deca TBR-a-thon that I'm going to listen to is gonna be The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night. I can get the audiobook from this. So yeah, probably I'm working August 1st, so that night I will probably listen to this, and yeah, I'm hopefully gonna start vlogging. So this will be the one I listen to, and then I will start reading Silver in the Bone during the day. It's a murder mystery novel that like no other. The detective and narrator is Christopher Boone. He is 15 and has Asperger's syndrome. He has known a very great deal about math and very little about human beings. He loves lists, patterns, and truths. He hates the colour yellow and brown being touched. He has never gone further than at the end of the road on his own, but when he finds neighbourhood's dog murdered, he sets out on a terrifying journey, which will be turn his world upside down. I've heard very good things about this. This is by Mark Haddon. This will be the first book that I read for Deca TBR-a-thon, and yeah, I'm gonna hopefully vlog it. Really didn't do good at like making videos in July. It turns out going from working like 15 hours to 40 hours took a lot out of me, especially like night shifts. A lot harder than I thought it was going to be. So I'm hopefully, even if it's just like when I get in from work, I flip the camera on for 5 minutes and just talk about what I read that night and then like go to bed. Yeah, I'm really going to try and do that in August. So this will be the first audiobook I read for Deca TBR-a-thon, and then Silver in the Bone will be the first physical read for TBR-a-thon for the month. And yeah, like I said, I will leave links to everything that I've kind of mentioned in the description down below, the different readathons and stuff. Let me know if you guys are participating in these readathons or any other readathons, what teams you're on, and yeah, any books you're looking forward to reading in August, and I would love to know. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for always for commenting on my videos. I am a trash human when it comes to responding, and I do read everything, but yeah, I just like sometimes my anxiety gets a bit much, but I'm trying to work on that. Hopefully it'll get better. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you again hopefully soon. Bye.